Excellency, the President of Slovenia. After bilateral talks between Kenya and Slovenia, we'll now witness the signing of a memorandum of understanding between the two nations, after which we'll have a joint press briefing. Let us kindly take our seats as I now call upon Honorable Musalia Mudavadi, Prime Cabinet Secretary and Cabinet Secretary for Foreign Affairs and Diaspora Affairs, to take his seat at the signing table, together with His Excellency Frank Butt, Ambassador Special Envoy of the Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Foreign and European Affairs of the Republic of Slovenia for Africa. We may now present the memorandums of understanding for signing. The memorandum of understanding between the Ministry of Foreign and Diaspora Affairs of the Republic of Kenya and the Ministry of Foreign and European Affairs of the Republic of Slovenia on political consultations. The objective of this MOU is to establish a framework through which parties may cooperate in Foreign Service Academy aimed at enhancing capacity of foreign service personnel training in Kiswahili and Slovene languages and other fields. Once signed, you may exchange the memorandums of understanding, the memorandum of understanding, after which we'll seek a photo opportunity before we progress to the joint press briefing by His Excellency, the President of Kenya, and Her Excellency, the President of Slovenia. We'll now have a photo opportunity as you shake hands, and a round of applause. Thank you. Your Excellencies, you may now progress to the joint press briefing. Welcome, Your Excellencies.
Your Excellency, Madam President Nataša Pirc Musar, President of the Republic of Slovenia, ladies and gentlemen, it is a great pleasure, honor and privilege to welcome Your Excellency, President of the Republic of Slovenia, on this historic first ever state visit to Kenya by a Slovenian heads of state. Madam President, it is indeed heartwarming to welcome you to Nairobi and to Kenya. On behalf of the government and people of Kenya, I extend our deepest appreciation to Your Excellency for this visit, which marks a new and promising chapter in the growing relations between our two countries. This visit symbolizes the renewed commitment and strategic importance we attach to building stronger ties between our two nations. I have had, ladies and gentlemen, a very productive bilateral engagement with Her Excellency, during which we reaffirmed our commitment to deepening cooperation across a broad range of priority sectors, including agriculture, education, digital transformation, health, energy, environment, trade, and climate action. We have identified trade and investment as key pillars of our cooperation, with immense potential to spur economic transformation in both our countries. We warmly welcome the participation of the Slovenian business delegation and the hosting of the Kenya-Slovenia Business Forum. These engagements will strengthen business linkages and unlock new trade and investment opportunities in pharmaceuticals, ICT, clean energy, and agro-processing. We have agreed to work together to minimize and escalate the benefits of the Kenya-European Economic Partnership Agreement, which came into force in July 2024, and we look forward to Slovenia's support in raising awareness among our businesses to improve access to the European Union. Slovenia's global leadership in sustainable apiculture and digital governance serves as an inspiration to Kenya, and we are excited to enhance our collaboration in smart farming technologies. And I told you, Madam President, that I am a farmer. And value addition in apiculture. We have agreed to build on the ongoing collaboration in Mandera County's beekeeping project and to scale it up to other regions, thereby contributing to biodiversity conservation, job creation, and food security. In the area of digital transformation, Slovenia's advancement in e-government, smart infrastructure, and data protection aligns with Kenya's ambition to become Africa's digital innovation hub. And we look forward to partnering in areas such as artificial intelligence, digital identity systems, cybersecurity, and emerging technologies to strengthen our digital economy. During our discussions, we also addressed our shared priorities in the health sector. And I want to thank you, Madam President, for offering that Kenya can learn from your distinguished institutions on matters to do with e-health and what we can do to leverage on technology in health provision and commodities management as we work on Kenya's universal health coverage plan. As Kenya works to expand access to quality, affordable health care, we recognize the potential to learn from others, and in this case, Slovenia. We look forward to forging partnerships between our institutions, including exchange programs and joint capacity building initiatives. Environmental conservation and climate resilience also remain central to our cooperation. I commend Slovenia's achievement of close to 60% forest cover, which greatly inspires our own reforestation initiatives to plant 15 billion trees by 2032. We agreed to explore joint projects in sustainable forestry, ecosystem management, ecotourism, and the development of non-timber forest products. Our shared ambition in education and youth empowerment are also shared priorities and are eager to draw from Slovenia's experience in science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, digital learning, and vocational education. Our country's education is that much important, and I did explain to Her Excellency what we are doing in that space. On peace and security, Kenya and Slovenia share a common interest in promoting regional and global stability. We value Slovenia's role as a current non-permanent member of the United Nations Security Council. We have agreed to continue collaborating in efforts to foster peace in the Horn of Africa, the Great Lakes region, and globally. I did take time to explain to Her Excellency what we are doing in our region, in Somalia, to stabilize that region, and to work that country and to work with others in the awesome process that is currently underway in Somalia. I did also explain to Her Excellency that Kenya, Uganda, Ethiopia are working with South Sudan to see what we can do together, and there are ongoing discussions on what we can contribute as the three countries to South Sudan's stability. I did also bring to Madam President's attention that the real big problem that we have is in the Sudan, where war rages unabated. There are two generals that have no regard for human life, and the war in Sudan is heading towards carnage, and it is already in the realm of a human catastrophe, and that all levers need to be pulled regionally and globally to stop the carnage, the human suffering, and the tragedy that is unfolding in the Sudan. Ladies and gentlemen, our discussions also touched on the urgent need for reforming the United Nations, especially the Security Council, to better reflect contemporary global dynamics. We acknowledged that the multilateral system must evolve to reflect present-day realities and ensure greater equity, inclusivity, and accountability. We reaffirm the importance of Africa having permanent representation in the Security Council. We also discussed the urgent need for a more inclusive and responsive international financial system to support sustainable development. As Kenya prepares to host the 4th International Conference on Financing for Development in July this year, we welcome Slovenia's partnership in advocating for reforms that promote fair financing, reduce borrowing costs, and amplify the voices of developing countries in global economic governance. These discussions reflect our shared commitment to multilateralism, global equity, and sustainable development. Ladies and gentlemen, to provide institutional support of our growing partnership, we have signed a memorandum of understanding on political consultations, which will establish a framework for regular diplomatic dialogue and consultations on bilateral, regional, and global issues of mutual interest. This reflects our shared commitment to strengthening cooperation and aligning on matters of common concern. Looking ahead, we are confident that Kenya and Slovenia will deepen our strategic partnership to advance our shared interests in sustainable development, peace, and prosperity for the benefit of our peoples and the globe. I also take this opportunity to thank Your Excellency for honoring our invitation to join the people of Kenya tomorrow as we commemorate Madaraka Day in Homa Bay County. We are deeply honored by this gesture, which underscores your commitment to strengthening our friendship. Madam President, again, welcome to Kenya. Enjoy your stay, and you have friends and partners in Kenya. Welcome.
Oh, Mr. President, thank you very much for such nice and warm words and a warm welcome. If I start with Madaraka Day, I was pleasantly surprised and honored to receive the invitation to go there and celebrate this national holiday with you, with your people. And I'm looking really, really forward to be in other part of the Kenya tomorrow and celebrate this important day with you. Thank you, honestly. So, I became a president 2.5 years ago, and I've never been to Africa as a president. Kenya is my first visit to African continent, and I have to tell you that I'm more than happy to be here because of one important thing. There are some others as well, but one is really very important. And this is that Mr. President and myself, we both believe in multilateralism. You know, the world is having a lot of problems nowadays. and believing in United Nations and international law and humanitarian law, this is something very close to my heart, and I know it's very close to the heart of your President as well. So Slovenia and Kenya are going to cooperate on this multilateral fora, the only one we do have. And I think it's really, really very important to assent this. We are going to see each other, I'm pretty sure, in September in New York when the General Assembly meeting is going to take place. So this is what we have to work on, together with an open dialogue. Your President mentioned the conflicts that you do have here in Africa. We, of course, also discussed the problems, the conflicts that we have in Europe and in the Middle East. The war between Russia and Ukraine, you know, the Palestine issue, the humanitarian crisis in Gaza. So this is what we have to discuss. We have to be open in dialogue, and we have to all try and strive to find solutions. This is your President's wish, and this is my wish. So this is what we have in common. I had an honor and the privilege yesterday, Mr. President, and I thanked you today at the bilateral talks that you offered me a wonderful companion to spend some time with me driving from the airport to the hotel. This is the young lady, the minister who's in charge of environment. And I know that environment is also very close to your heart. And we had a wonderful discussion about what's at stake. And we have to remain green at our hearts. Your project to build 15 billion trees, I can only applaud and say thank you for that, because you're not doing this only for Kenya. You're doing it for the whole planet, and that's what we have to realize. And we are going to meet each other at the COP30 in Brazil as well to discuss the climate crisis and climate change. So this is what our two countries are all about. And the discussions that we are having are only going to gain the friendship between Slovenia and Kenya, Mr. President. I do hope we will cooperate in economic field as well. You know, it's a lot of maneuvering space for that. I have the team from Ministry of Foreign Affairs here who will tackle these topics as well to see where the collaboration can strengthen. And I think that we can learn from each other. You said that Slovenia is very strong in artificial intelligence. It is. Some say that we have the most AI experts per capita in the world. We have our own little Silicon Valley, like you are trying to have, and you already do have it in Kenya. Artificial intelligence is one field. Pharmaceutical, agriculture. You said you're a farmer, sir. I'm not, I'm only a lawyer, sorry, and I apologize to Mr. President also on bilateral talks. But farming and agriculture is something that we do share as well. You know, food security is getting more and more important in every single country. And the wonderful joint project that we do have in common already is the Space SI. We are a space nation, yeah, but we do have a tiny little satellite which has a possibility and capability to monitor rivers, to predict the floods. And this is what we already cooperate on, Mr. President. Kenya and Slovenia and our little tiny satellite who can, you know, give us a lot of important and interesting data. Just to let you know, this tiny little satellite is also used to supervise the river Ganges in India. So it really is quite capable. Of course, Slovenia and Kenya have one more thing in common, and that's water diplomacy and water supply. Slovenian companies are trying to boost the water efficiency in Kenya with technologies that we do have. And of course, innovation is always a door to progress. Kenyan people are innovative, Slovenian people are innovative. So let's try and see what we can do with shaking hands, with cooperation. And once again, Mr. President and the people of Kenya, I cannot tell you how much privileged I do feel to be here, and especially I have to assent this again, because honestly I didn't expect the invitation to be the speaker at your Madaraka Day. And believe me, I will try to reveal my soul and the soul of Slovenian people to your people tomorrow. And I really am looking forward to that. And I'm pretty sure that I'm going to spend 3 marvelous days in your country. And Mr. President, you are more than welcome to visit Slovenia anytime. Thank you very much for everything, for those first couple of hours in Kenya, 2.5 days more to come. And I'm pretty sure that I will say thank you many, many more times for the hospitality. Thank you a lot.
And with that, Your Excellency, that brings us to the end of the joint press briefing. And we'll now all rise as we allow the 2 heads of state to exit at their own pleasure as we progress to the next part of this state visit. Thank you, Your Excellencies. Thank you.
You're welcome.
We may now progress to the line.